Here's what I noticed today in the markets. The euro-dollar swap out to about 120-plus basis points, the widest I've seen in years. The dollar is soaring because of demand overseas for a lot of different reasons, not the least of which is dollar funding. Can you address that? What are you seeing with regard to dollar funding?
Yeah, so when you look at LIBOR OIS and FRA OIS and also the basis, they have been widening, but it's still not quite at anywhere near levels where we were in 2008 and 9. When you look at some of the indicators of the daily measures of financial conditions, they're really still only near the levels of where we were in 2011. So the commercial paper funding facility that was just announced is a very important step in trying to ease some of those stresses. But generally speaking, we are not near the levels in 2008 and 9. Of course, the situation is not good, but this should definitely help in getting the basis down and also the LIBOR OIS and FRA OIS to also begin to come in again.
Yes, Torsten, I couldn't agree more. I mean, obviously, markets aren't going to trade like they normally do because these aren't normal times. And with regard to that facility, I think it's a great idea. You know, when Lehman went out, when Drexel went out, they had tons of assets. They just had no liquidity. You need funding right now. Another issue that you've been writing about, securities that are more than 1,000 basis points over treasuries. We define those as distressed. And also, not nearly as bad as it could be, but it is deteriorating. Can you address that?
Yeah, so as you also just talked about, this issue is essentially something in the corporate sector. So that's why a lot of attention is being paid to what's happening in corporate bond markets across the whole stack of credit quality. High quality credit has generally been trading, generally speaking, okay. It really is further down in credit quality that there's more worries. And then there are more worries about also fallen angels issues. And that specific issue is that when you have a significant amount of corporate bonds that are beginning to trade at distressed levels, then, of course, that does begin to open questions about what does that mean? What are the risks inherent in that? So absolutely, Rick, this is an issue that markets are paying a lot of attention to. But again, both this commercial paper funding facility, also, if we do get a term auction facility, a similar way of trying to provide liquidity to markets and make sure that essentially companies can keep their doors open would certainly be steps forward to make sure that the corporate sector doesn't experience too much stress as a result of this.